today this is the 95th anniversary of the first British Grand Prix, and we've got some more modern Grand Prix cars here on display today. And we've caught up with a Tyrrell Ford.
Yes, yep.
And your name is, sir?
It's Adam Tyrrell. I'm Ken's grandson.
Ken Tyrrell's grandson, fantastic. And can you tell us a little bit about the car that you brought down today?
Yeah, so it's Tyrrell 001, which was the first Tyrrell ever made. Built in 1970 in secret. When it was unveiled, no one actually knew that Tyrrell had built their own car to contest in Formula 1. So unveiled in August, raced a couple of times that year, and for the first few Grand Prix or non-championship races of 1971.
And did it have much success, the car?
Yeah, it had a few pole positions. It came second at the South African Grand Prix in 1971. Then they built what was called 003, which was the car that Jackie Stewart drove for the rest of that season. Then he won the World Championship in 1971, and Tyrrell won the Constructors' Championship, which is 50 years ago, so another anniversary this year.
It's pretty good going. You mentioned Jackie Stewart there was one of the drivers. Who were the other drivers?
So it was used as a spare car for most of the year. So Jackie was the primary driver.
And Tyrrell, of course, were fairly successful in their day, and this wasn't their only car. What else were they racing?
So in the years that followed, they won the championship in 73, or Jackie did, in what was called 006, which was the successor car to this. And then over future years, I guess one of the memorable cars was a six-wheeler. Tyrrell was the only team that raced a six-wheel in Formula 1, and it actually won races. And some people forget that in 1976, Jody Scheckter came third in the championship behind Lauder and Hunt that year in the six-wheeler.
Yeah, a very unusual car. The six-wheelers didn't really catch on, though, did they? Why was that?
Well, I mean, they were mechanically complicated, but also it had smaller front wheels, and Goodyear developed the rear wheels, but didn't want to put the resources in developing the front wheels just for one team when they were at the time fighting quite a big battle with Michelin over tyre development, and so if the front wheels weren't developed for the six-wheeler, it just became uncompetitive compared to the other cars over time.
Yeah, that's understandable, isn't it? And what became of Tyrrell in the end?
So the team was sold in the late 90s, and the evolution in terms of the F1 entry is that it's now what is Mercedes, but obviously it's a completely different team, but it's the same original entry that Mercedes use. But yeah, it was sold into what became British American racing in the late 90s.
And it's evolved into Mercedes today with Lewis Hamilton driving.
Well, yes. I mean, as I said, no direct involvement, but it's nice to have that small connection. But it's nice to have a bit of the family history in the family as well.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you.